You are listening to the strongest podcast in CrossFit. This is the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. Before we start the show, I'd like to thank the sponsors that are helping this podcast grow. The first one is Liberté Lifestyle. Liberté Lifestyle have the best knee sleeves in the game. I've worn all different types of knee sleeves, and I always go back to Liberté. They're super durable, they don't rip, and they last a very, very long time. So go check out Liberté Lifestyle and check out all the different styles of knee sleeves that they have. And then the next one we have is Hero Barbell. Hero Barbell is the fastest growing barbell company in the functional fitness community. Their barbells have all different colors, all different designs, super comfortable. The knurlings are amazing, and the spin on these barbells are absolutely insane. So go to Hero Barbell to check out all the different type of barbells that they have in stock. And then the last one is Sharpen the Axe. Sharpen the Axe, I've been wearing their clothes for multiple years. They're long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, shorts. I always wear them. You may have even seen them on the podcast before they became a sponsor. Super comfortable. The shorts I always wear working out because I just feel like they're a better fit for me compared to the Nikes or any other shorts in the game. So all these companies, I have a promo code. It's all Type 1. So click Type 1 in all the promo code sections and you get 10% off of every item you get. So once again, thank you for these companies to help this podcast grow. And let's go to the show. All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have nutritionist. This is going to be a long list. Co-owner of the Tampa Bay Brigade, nutritional coach, master's athlete, YouTube, Instagram influencer, if you can call it, or meme person. Jess Krezmien, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Not bad. So we actually talked. I actually looked back. It was like about a year ago. And obviously a lot has changed for the Grid League as well as, teams and all that stuff. But before we talk all about that, I do want to talk about the Bills because I know you're a big Bills fan. And
I was going to add Bills Mafia to my title when you're listing those things off.
But I wish you guys beat Kansas City because I can't stand Kansas City. They're the worst. But
yeah.
I mean, if I, since I'm a Patriots fan, I'd rather have the Bills actually move forward into the Super Bowl than, anybody else.
That says a lot being a Pats fan. Yeah.
I know. But so have you heard any news lately about the Bills or Diggs? Is he leaving or what's?
Oh God, I pray to God not. I mean, there's been rumblings of things here and there, but I can't honestly. I refuse to believe that he would leave the bromance of Josh Allen and Diggs. I just can't. I refuse to believe that that's a possibility. So I'm going to say no because I'm never going to believe that.
Yeah. So how do you watch the games? Do you go to a restaurant or you just stream most of the stuff?
Half and half. If I'm feeling lazy, we'll just watch it at home. But as it got more, once we went on a 6-game winning streak, I was like, we got to do the same thing we did last week. I got to wear the same shoes. I got to wear because I have 17 different options for Zuba's apparel. And I'm what did I wear? But we'll go to a Bills backers bar. There's a ton of them around here. It's insane. There's 4 or 5 in within 20 miles because we're just everywhere.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. So where I live, there's a lot of Ohio State fans down here, and it's not. I'm a Michigan fan, so it's it's at nauseum. The one guy I've seen, he was driving a Porsche, and he had a red racing stripe in the middle to look like a Buckeyes helmet.
Yeah, all right.
And I'm like, that is ugly, so ugly with the leaf stickers in the back and stuff. So it's and everyone hates the Patriots down here because being in Atlanta, obviously we kicked their butts in the Super Bowl, so that they weren't too fond of us.
Fans of that, yeah.
So but you actually before the Open and everything that you went to the Legends division. So I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't really see much of it. I didn't really hear much of it. So can you go over what happened and how you did during the Legends competition?
Yeah, I mean, so there was no live stream this year, so that's probably why you didn't see much of it. The last couple of years, they've had like this crazy, amazing live stream, like Sean Woodland, Anna Sakamoto, like they're all there broadcasting
Yep.
it. They didn't live stream it this year. A lot of us were pretty bummed about it. I actually talked to Joe, the guy that one of the guys that runs this, runs Legends about it, and we talked a lot about it, about a lot of things, but it was just like as far as the live stream go, it was just a choice they had to make between like budgeting and trying to figure things out for next year. And just, so we, obviously understand you got to pick your battles and stuff. But it was definitely a little bit of a bummer that way. But I mean, Legends is one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite competition, not one of. It's definitely my favorite competition I do every year. Although now they add swimming, so it's knocked it down a peg because every year before that I've gotten away with no swimming. They added swimming, and it was just awful, like
Yeah.
awful. It was the first event, and I just like dug myself into a hole that I had to I worked my way out of it, but no matter how hard I practice, it just does not help. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like two strokes and like I always tilt my head to like one side every
Yep.
single time. I can't do the three strokes because I'll just
Nope.
freak out. And it's
I'm
just like
not an ambi turner. I
yeah.
can't do the both. Every two. I am the same way. But don't
Yeah.
take advice from me because I suck at it. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm 6'6", and like usually I'm like trying to like I haven't swam in quite a while. So it's been a hot minute. Like I've been in the pool, but I haven't really gone
Yeah.
out and swam at all. But hey, I can't. Yeah, it's crazy. But did you hear the news that they're moving the Masters competition down to Birmingham?
Yeah. So I've kind of known this was in the works for a little while because like that, meaning like the masters were breaking off into their own thing. So, and
Mhm.
I knew like Legends was going to be doing it, which is great because like they actually give a shit about masters and like they understand us pretty well. I didn't know where it was going to be. They just released that. So, yeah, they just released it like what, today or something, because everybody's talking about it now. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So do you know like and like where the location in Birmingham is at, or what's
Mm-mm.
the nothing?
No, I just know it's the same weekend now as the teens at like Labor Day weekend. And it's not the most ideal, but I'm guessing there wasn't a lot of venues available, and this was just kind of like their only option. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are the teens at Birmingham too as well?
No, they're at their venue that they used for the pit teen throwdown. So I
Okay.
think one of the days is at their facility, and then the next couple days is somewhere close by. Is Cal? I heard the word Kalamazoo. I don't think that's correct. That can't be right. But it's somewhere near that because they do have to pay for a venue. So one of the days is at their venue, and then the other 3 days or however long it is like close by at a venue. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, wherever they're at their little place, and then they're gonna move. So, but yeah, not at the same place. So if you have
Okay.
like an athlete that's old and young, you gotta like that's awkward. I
Try,
wouldn't want to be involved in that.
yeah, try to divide and conquer and to
Yeah.
see who's like even like who's worthy to
Yeah. Who do
go
I like
which one to
more?
go. Yeah, yeah. Who
Yeah.
pays me more? Who pays me more?
Like, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm actually it's Birmingham's not too far from where I live. So,
That's
um,
cool.
for you when for the Masters competition, like what was the traveling? Like how much did it roughly cost you to actually go to the competition and like stay there for the couple days?
Yeah. So flights, I don't remember. I remember like telling all this because they asked us about this actually. I got an Airbnb. So, I mean, it was roughly all together. I want to say it was between like $3,000 and $4,000 between like flights for me and my husband, Airbnb for the whole week because we stayed a couple extra days to go to like Sedona and because it was in Arizona. So
Yeah.
we stayed a couple extra days. So, I mean, I'm factoring that in as well to go to Sedona for a couple days, check that place out, and like food and all that kind of stuff. So definitely it's not a cheap adventure. But it's the biggest thing that we do all year. So I mean, it's to me, it's worth it. So
Yeah, yeah. And do you think they could have done like a Chase Ingram, kind of bootleg, stream that they did for like one of the competitions for the semis?
yeah, like I never, and I mean, this is easy for me to say because I'm not on that end of things. But like everybody always says like you could just have someone there, like live streaming on their phone, and it's not great quality, but like I feel like they could have had something. But again, I don't know the logistics behind it. Maybe if it wasn't as high quality as they're used to, they didn't want to half-ass it. Like the stationary corner and the camera in the corner, like they did at the games. So maybe there was just like hey, if we can't do it all out, we're not going to half-ass it. If we can't use our whole ass, we're not going to do it. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
that was but yeah, because even at like semis, I think it was not even just Chase, but it was like Brian Friend and all them. They were just there, like live streaming it and did their own little production. So I
Yeah.
guarantee you, there's someone that would have done that for free,
Yeah.
very, like in a heartbeat.
I mean, they could use this platform here, StreamYard, that like
Yeah.
everyone else uses it, and just the way that Chase did it was they used their own StreamYard platform and then sent the links over to a couple of the people on their
Okay.
phones, and then that's how and they literally were holding their phone,
On it. Yeah.
on it, and just like and then going from like camera to camera or whatnot. So
Yeah. Because they had
I,
like 4 or 5 different things going on, like angles and stuff, and like different there's like 2 oh my god, like stages,
yeah,
so
yeah.
they had a lot going on, so I don't know.
But to be honest, it does I can imagine it costs a lot of money to get that whole production.
It's
Even
I mean, I know how much it is for grid, so I can't even imagine. I don't know if it's similar, it's got to be, but it's a stupid amount of money. It's insane. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But your Instagram has been kind of popping off lately.
Well, sometimes I choose violence and it just goes everywhere. So
So the last time I think we talked, I think you were at like 30K or like roughly around that, and now you're at like what, 63 right now?
somewhere in the mid 50s.
Mid
Somewhere there.
50s.
Yeah. I
Okay.
try not to pay too
Okay.
much attention to it because it just like it goes up and down and I don't understand any of it. There's no rhyme or reason. So I try not to pay too much attention to it.
Yeah. So when did you start seeing that uptick of more followers and engagement in your posts?
Um, Probably maybe a couple, maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
Because like when I first, it's funny because I never even like wanted Instagram. Like I thought it was so stupid. This was like I don't know, maybe 2018ish. Not because it was definitely after I left teaching because there's no way I had this kind of Instagram when I was a teacher because my students would watch it. There's no way. So anyway, so it must have been like around that. And my friend's like, you got to do Instagram. You can get free stuff. I'm like, why would I do Instagram? Facebook, you can post videos, you can post pictures. Like I had no idea what Instagram was. And I thought it was like, I'll never do it because it's so stupid. You can post statuses on Facebook. Anyway, fast forward and that's really the only thing I use. So yeah, so a couple years ago is when it kind of started to get ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And you started doing reels, and you kind of we're doing like meme reels a little
Yeah,
bit.
so like, cause I used to just really just post like my workouts, cause I'm like, well, I'm like filming my stuff for my coach anyway, so I might as well just like, hey, here's my workout, and put like music to the background of it, and then every once in a while I would just post, I don't know, make like something stupid. I think they're stupid, but like just something funny, and like those would be the ones that like blow up, and I'm like, what is going on? So like I naturally just ended up doing more of that and less of my workouts because I feel like it's so saturated with just like, hey, this unless you're like a crazy games athlete like Tia or something, and you could just post a video of you doing this once and get like 300,000 likes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's just felt more natural for me to kind of go more towards like not like more personal, but like just weird stuff that I think of and like the more of like the meme side of things. And yeah, that's what people tend to like a little bit more.
Yeah. There's two of them that I really like. The one of them was like the hip thruster reel.
Yeah.
And so like where like you like all like the fitness influencers showing off like how much weight they could do in a hip thrust, and then like look at someone that was staring at them or something like that.
Yeah, like I don't understand. It's like, oh, this is my hip thrust max. I'm like, who tests this? Why is that? I mean, I get it why it's functional, I guess, but like, why are you testing your hip thruster max and why? Yeah. And I'm like, then you always got to like awkwardly stare at people around when you're doing it, because you're just like humping this giant thing in front of you. Yeah.
So where like do you schedule these out? Like do you plan them like a couple days before, or is it just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna do this right now?
Uh, you know what? I don't. I have no like no like sometimes yes. Like if I'm partnering like with Peachy, sometimes I'll get an idea and I'll like warn her. I'll be like the last one I just did. I'll like just be prepared, and she'll be like, oh God, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry about it. And then I'll make it and I'll like we'll collab on it. Some things I get an idea for, and then I just wait till I have time, and I'm like, oh, I got 10 minutes. I'll do this real quick. But I don't really have like I don't schedule them. I don't like use an app to like post at a specific time. I just when I have time, I do it, and then sometimes I make one and I forget about it. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta post that. So yeah, it's just kind of like I go with the flow, and because then every time I try real hard, there's like 2 likes, and one that I don't try hard, I'm like, this is dumb. it'll go through the roof. And I'm like, I don't understand any of this. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's crazy because I mainly do like YouTube shorts, which you should really consider doing as well, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. So, because all you can do is just post the reels that you have on Instagram
Yeah.
over to YouTube, and it's really easy, and just use like the different hashtags and like tags and stuff like, and it's like you can start get a big following, then you can monetize and make money
Is it
off of these.
easier than TikTok? Because I hate that thing. I hate it.
I,
It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it.
I to be honest with you, I like a lot of people like TikTok, but I think the YouTube one is better than TikTok.
Better? Yeah, it has
Yeah.
to be because I don't understand TikTok. I'm like, forget it. I try. I'll just like my videos do so much better on Instagram. I don't understand. I'm not a talker of the tick. I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I like because I would post something that was killing it on like Instagram or like YouTube, and then I
Yeah.
post it and it's like 200 views, and I'm like, what? And I
Right.
granted,
Yeah.
granted, I'm being honest, I don't post regularly on TikTok. I'm more of a watcher than a poster. So it's
Mhm.
like I'm like, okay, I kind of see that, like, I'm barely posting, so it's not really worth TikTok's time to
Yeah. To
promote to
put you
move
in
my
the
stuff in
thing.
the
Yeah.
algorithm. Yeah. So, but I usually post a short on YouTube like almost every single day. And it's like mainly like me doing lifts like that. That's it. And it's
Yeah.
like 44-year-old CrossFitter does like, X amount of weight for this many
Yeah.
reps. And like all these people were like, holy shit, you're old, but that's amazing. So
Perfect.
yeah, and it's like whatever, you take it, and then like
Yeah.
some of them will shoot up, and some of them won't, and so
Yeah.
the ones that blew up for me are the ones that I'm like my face is in it, and that's it, and it's like someone else lifting or doing like not bailing on a lift and like almost getting hurt and saying, what are you doing in this situation, or don't be this guy on the
Yeah.
lifting platform, and so he fell backwards and like had the bar in his neck, and so it was just like those. But I'm like, and then I post other things, and it's just like I don't get the engagement, which whatever, it's the algorithm,
It's
it's what
hitter.
people
Yeah.
like. Yeah, it's hit or miss. So but like, yeah, it's I think YouTube's a lot more fun than actual TikTok.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's just my bad.
I didn't
That's
even
my
think of
bias.
that. Like, I see them all the time. I never really well, I shouldn't say that. Like, I'll watch YouTube shorts every once in a while, but my husband actually was going through YouTube videos to find me in a fail video. And he was convinced he was going to find me in it one time. He's just like, I'm going to see you in one of these. Because like sometimes my videos get like taken and like somebody be like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah. And it's me doing something dumb or getting hurt. And sure as shit, one night I'm sleeping. He screams. I wake up and it's the video of me in my sister's basement with the resistance band. And I'm trying to fix my pants and I drop it and it smacks my toe. And I'm just
Yep.
like, yeah. That one was in a random YouTube fail video and he found it. Yeah.
Yep. It's funny, like people repurpose everyone's video
Oh,
content
yeah.
all the time. And it's like, it's almost like, all right, it's on there, it's fair game. If you do
Yeah.
like a screen record, have at it,
Yeah.
but yeah, you should really consider going on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, why not?
I mean, why not get on another platform?
I know. It's not like, yeah, YouTube, Instagram is, I feel like it's a part-time job. It's like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Yeah. Cause I
Yeah,
run my business page and now I'm like running the Tampa Bay Brigade page and I run the kids grid page. And I'm like, I can't do all this. This is too many.
yeah,
I need more of me to do all that.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's like so my wife is like really big on Instagram. She's got like I think last time I checked today it was like 302,000
Oh, good Lord.
like followers. And
Yeah.
so she does reels all the time, and it's like I help her out with like her social media stuff because she needed help. So, and it's like I try to get information from her a little bit, but it's just like we're in like two complete different genres than like
Yeah.
for each other, and it's like really hard for her to be like, all right, you may want to consider this or consider that, because it's like she's coming from like a fashion side, not like a fitness
Okay.
side.
Yeah.
So but it's crazy. Like, so I don't, I so I want to know if you get this. She gets so many people DMing her, especially guys, asking for feet pics.
I get a lot of weird. I had a guy message me today about arm wrestling, and I'm like, what? Like it is rare if I respond to a DM from someone I don't know. Usually it's like if they're asking me something legit, like, hey, how do you get into competing? Or like, hey, I don't know, asking about something that like not weird. You know what I mean? But there's some things, man. People got balls, and I don't know if they just
I
think we're never gonna
know.
respond, or but I'm like, if you wouldn't say it to the person to their face in person, you should not message them that sentence, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of guys on her DMs have like a lot of cojones too. And it's just like they will say a comment on her like her actual post, and then I don't know, they would go on Facebook and try to reach out to her, and then they would go on her DMs through like they would go through her DMs during, what do you call it? Through Instagram. And it's just like
Yeah.
crazy. And like they're like, I'll pay you to
Oh yeah.
send your feet pics over. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself,
Well, let's
I'm
see.
like,
It's just feet. Should I?
I'm like,
That's what we monetize.
I'm like, should I go on like Feet Finder and like post her feet on there and just kind of like use her? And she's like, don't use me for money. And I was just like, come on, it's so easy. Like
Yeah.
I won't even put your face on there.
Right.
So
I wonder if do you have to put your face on there? Because if not, then you're good.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I looked at the website. I'm like, there's no way that thing called Feet Finder. And lo and behold, I was like, I
Yeah.
Googled it and Feet Finder popped up. I'm like, this is
It's a thing.
unreal. Yeah.
Oh, it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
nuts. I've had people there's a couple people that are just like ridiculously persistent. Like for years. I'm like, man, they just don't get the hint. Either like I don't know. Like shoot your shot, man. I guess you never know. I don't know.
Yeah, and she shows me some of the DMs, and I'm like, that's a lot of balls for saying something like that. A lot
Yeah.
of balls.
I've
But
had guys make like collages of him and I together and like look at how great we could be and like sometimes they find pictures I don't know where they get them from and I'm like yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
insane. But you were talking about grid, so before we talk about the kind of like the merger. So last season, how did it go for you guys?
It didn't go great. um we had some just freak accidents happen. I feel like this is the second year in a row that's happened, but we just I'll say this. This year I'm more excited this year because we just kind of cleaned house. We had to I'm just going to say this politely. We only want team players on our team. We can't have individually minded players because that shit spreads like a cancer.
Yeah.
And that's what happened this past season. And we're like, we can't have that. So I think what sometimes happens is you have like individual players that come to a team, and they can't. The team doesn't revolve around them or what they want. It might not be what's best for the team, and they maybe can't handle that,
Yeah.
or so yeah, and I have to do what's best for the team. So if it's not that, then we can't have him back. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. We have some studs coming to our tryout this Sunday. So I can't wait to see that. But yeah, I mean, this past season wasn't great. We did have some really good moments, but I mean, we didn't. Obviously, we always want to win the whole thing, and when you don't, it's kind of like kind of like the Bills when they never win the Super Bowl, So, but yeah. So I think this year we're going to be in a much better like team state because we were in a great at the end of at the end of 2022 we were even though like we had somebody get injured, so like we were in such a good mindset, and then unfortunately this past year there was just a couple players who didn't get a lot of playing time or they just thought this thing should be a certain way when it wasn't, and they got upset, and yeah, so we had to just kind of be like, listen, not working out. We're gonna clean house and get team players who understand like the overall goal. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, I'd rather take new people that don't even know what grid is, that are coachable and like moldable, and they understand. Like, I'll do whatever you need. Yes, great. To mold those people than dealing with like individual egos that just don't mesh well with the team.
Yeah. I've noticed that like obviously grid's a team sport and it's not like an individual sport. So people
Mhm.
that like are so used to doing CrossFit on their own, and if they don't have like a team's background at all, or they
Yeah,
thought, or like they were like really like they were a starter all 4 years in like high school and college or whatever, like, and they think they just need to start, they just it's they need a reality check when they do go to
Yeah.
something completely new. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, when I was in college, I wasn't expecting to start. I was like, okay, whatever. If it, I'm
I'm
just here.
here.
I'm here to play. If you need me for anything, like special teams, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm here. So, but yeah, it's kind of tough. Like, so when you get people on the team, do you do like interviews, like almost like interviews and stuff, just to say like, just to see if it's even worth entertaining the idea that to have them on your team?
Yeah, like there's a couple different process. So like if they're local, we'll hopefully see them in person, get to like not even tell them they're being interviewed, but we can kind of get like a vibe from them, like, hey, how do you operate? Like, hey, can you show us these tests, see how they interact with the team? And we can usually get a good, like when you see them once or twice or interact with them, we can kind of get a vibe of them of like, hey, are you going to mesh well, not mesh well, and stuff like that. If they're not local, it's a little bit trickier because you're not seeing them in person. And sometimes we pick wrong, and it just that happens. Or sometimes somebody's really good at just faking being a team player and then they end up not being. That doesn't happen very often, but like and we had a couple of situations last year where we were down a couple players and had to sign 3 girls for the last 2 batches, and we lucked out because we had this one girl, Jocelyn, who super strong girl. We needed a strength girl, and she's like, yeah, I'll come try out. We just had like a little mini tryout, and she was like, I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you need. And she was super coachable. I was like, I love you. You are in. And then we actually had 2 of our kid grid players come up, Ari and Bella, that were 17. One of them just turned 18. They played up for the first time in like grid season history. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
sick because we had like a little farm team situation going on. And I was lucky because I already knew them. I already knew they knew grid. I knew their personalities. I knew that, they would mesh well. So yeah, for the most part, we try to meet them in person and kind of get a good vibe from them first. And we explained to them like, hey, don't expect to be in every single race. Don't expect like you're on a team. We try to explain it as best we can. And some people are like, ooh, I need special this, that. We're like, all right, maybe it's not for you. And other people are like, I'll do whatever you want, so you can get that, you can kind of feel that vibe from people pretty well.
Yeah, and I've heard there's like you can get like maybe like a person just to do like one thing, which is like burpees to touch the rings, and like that's their whole
Yeah.
job, and that's it.
Yeah. So that used to be a lot more eminent, like in like MPGL. You would have a player that's literally you have one race you're in all year, but it's such a like specific specialty that like no one else can do it. And they're like, yep, this is all you do, and that's it. We don't really have that many people that are only doing maybe one thing all season, but that burpee, that 9 foot 9 inch burpee to ring touch, that will win or lose you the sprint relay, which is worth 3 points, sometimes 4 if they throw a bonus flag. That could change the whole match. And it's like it could be going well, and then all of a sudden they miss one or they hit it out of and it's game over. But yeah, this is not a team sport where everybody plays the same. It's not where like we've had players, and this was one of the problems we had last year, where maybe a player was used to being one of the more prominent players, but maybe things change, and you want depth on your team. Like you don't want someone to have to be in every single race, because by the end of it, they're probably tired, where somebody fresh coming in would be more effective.
Yeah.
So like the first couple of seasons, I had to be in every single race. And then the past couple of seasons, I kind of got a little bit of a break, and I was like, all right, this is nice. But then like last season when some people got hurt or whatever, they couldn't make it, I had to go back to being in it. And I don't necessarily like that all the time. I'm dead tired by the time some of the harder races come up at the end. So it's like we're trying to get more people in this season so we don't have to have several players being in all the races. Just because it's not, you want to have people that are fresh towards the end of the match when everybody else is kind of like going down. So yeah.
Yeah. So since being the owner and co-captain, so I know I looked at the grid website, and so a lot of the different teams have podcasts as well. So does the brigade have their own podcast?
Nope.
Dude.
Definitely not. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We don't have enough manpower for that, but I mean that would be cool. I just kind of like I did one this morning, or like I'll just do random podcasts, just explaining to people what grid is, how it's going. So, but we don't have like a dedicated one to our team. I think the Sharks I know have one or had one or have one. I don't know if it probably still exists. I don't know what other teams have it on there, but yeah, I think a couple of them definitely do.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not that hard to do a podcast. It's really not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, if you really want to do one, I could show you the way. So,
all right, so I got YouTube and I got podcasts. All right, I'm gonna get on all of that stuff. I'm gonna join the 21st century here.
Yeah. So obviously the big news came out a little while ago that they're merging. So is it now is it the NGPL league, or like what is it considered now?
So yeah, the MPGL was back in the day. That was like 2000. I want to say
That was
7.
yeah,
Yeah,
early.
that was, so that is no more. This is completely separate. Although one of the guys that used to run one of the teams, Mather Riswell, he's the one that started the I almost said MPGL, the Florida Grid League.
Yeah.
So we have just changed the name to United Grid League,
Okay.
simply because of the growth we've had over the past 4 years. Like 2020, just it went crazy. Everybody was on their phones and on their computers all the time, just started watching all the reels, and then everything went crazy. And we have players from all over the country. We even have a player from Colombia. Like, it's not just,
wow.
It started out in 2017. We were all super local. We were all in like the Tampa, Orlando area. There was a couple, maybe one random person here and there, but we were all within like, I don't know, a 30, 50-mile radius. Now we have players from Texas, Georgia, California, Pennsylvania, New York, like everywhere. So it doesn't really make sense to make it the Florida Grid League anymore. We actually, one of our teams just changed from the Gainesville Wild to the Atlanta Wild. So now we actually have a team that's outside of Florida. So they're in Georgia now. So it's, the Florida name just felt very like exclusive, and maybe that's not the right word, but like very small and limited. And people all the time like, oh, do we have to be in Florida to play? And it's like, no, you can be from anywhere. So we needed something that would explain that a little bit better. Like, hey, and United also came from the idea of it's a co-ed league. Guys and girls play on the same team. It's all different body types, all different types of people, different backgrounds. So it's just like we're all kind of united in this one thing, this like one like family of, hey, we like to fitness really fast, and we're all really competitive. So
yeah, that's awesome. So what was the game plan of the Wild moving to Atlanta compared to
I
like staying in
think
Florida?
I think most of their players are from Atlanta.
Okay.
Like in that area. So it just didn't make, because originally the team was, I believe the team was owned by somebody else, and they were in the Jacksonville area. And then over the last couple of years, more players, there wasn't really many people in Jacksonville, so it really didn't make sense for them to have that name anymore. And a lot of their players are more in that Atlanta, Georgia area. So they're like, let's just fix it. So
So do they have a gym or like an area where they're actually doing the competition in Atlanta? Do they have that already set up, you think?
you mean like for the matches throughout the league or the season?
Correct. Yeah.
So the matches are at like we've been growing for this too, because we used to have our matches at Valor Fitness in Tampa, and then also like that was the North matches for the 4 North teams, and then the South would have their matches in the South for the 4 South teams. Lately, in the past three seasons, I want to say, we've been having our matches at like big ass expos. So it's not necessarily like in the cities of the teams, it's where these expos are. So usually our season opener is at the USA Fit Expo, which is in Orlando. And then we have one at the Miami. Last year we had the Miami International Fitness Expo in Miami. We had our playoffs. We had one at Mr. Olympia this year because it was in Orlando. So all of our matches were at these big expos with like 40,000 plus people at them. We still had one match at Valor Fitness still. So it was a local Tampa event as well. But we're trying to get into these bigger venues because we're growing. There's more people, more eyes on the sport. You know, people are walking by like, what the heck is that? And they just like, you know, they never heard of us, but they're seeing these people flip around on rings and lifting ridiculous weights. And they're like, I want to watch that. So so it doesn't matter. Like the matches don't necessarily happen in the cities. It's just where we can get the venues at the expos and exposure and stuff like that.
Okay. And I've noticed on YouTube as well as like TikTok and those other platforms that like the grid like following has gotten absolutely huge.
Just ridiculous.
So, and it's like just looking from where you guys first started, like even a year ago when I talked, like a little over a year ago when I talked to you, it was like from then to now,
it's
like
nuts, man. I remember we just, because we're looking for team sponsors if anyone wants to sponsor our team. And I'm sending out these emails with those stats, and it was like 2017 we started with like a couple thousand followers and like maybe a couple hundred people at the venues, and now across all their social media it's over 1 million followers and tens of thousands of people it's nuts. COVID, something happened and it just skyrocketed. Their followers went, just because we used to have like 4,000 followers, and now it's just insane. Every time they tag me in a video, I'm like, oh God, here we go. Because it's just like notification. And half of them are good, half of them are bad. I'm just like, whatever works. People are seeing grid. That's all I care about. They can make fun of it or love it, whatever.
Yeah, and it's like me watching it is like you all you guys are like so fast paced, and it's just like because that's the competition to go as
Yeah.
fast as possible, or like and do whatever, and it's like people are not really getting it
No,
and understanding it,
at
and
all.
that's the problem
At
because
all.
especially with like doing like butterfly pull-ups, like even just doing a video of that, I got
Yeah.
like so much hate for that,
Oh, of
and
course.
then
Because nobody,
it,
yeah, because it's floppy full and that's not real pull offs, blah, blah, blah. I get
yeah,
it. I get it.
yeah. And so they see like you doing like toes to bar to chest to bar and then like to a muscle up and they're like, how is what is
Yeah.
that? And
The
so
best was, I think my teammate was doing toes to bar. Oh, I think she was either doing, I think she was doing toes to bar. And so I was like, those aren't real pull ups. We're like, you fucking idiot. They're toes to bar. But she was going so fast and she's so short. So like her range of motion is really small. And she does like this pull, like this kind of like, it's like a little early pull, but it shortens the range of, it makes it more efficient. And she's doing toes to bar and people are like, those aren't real pull ups. We're like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
And it's like, people don't understand this is, oh, that's not good training. You're going to hurt. Like, this isn't training. This is the sport. Like, this is the sport. This is not the training. The training happens. That's the boring stuff, the slow stuff. This is yeah. People won't get it. We just stop. I used to like respond to everything like, you don't, now I'm like, you'll never understand. If you don't
yeah,
get it, you'll never understand. Yeah.
yeah. And I would literally take the chest to bar pull up, like the butterfly pull up, like thing from CrossFit, and literally copy and paste it onto the reply message,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, CrossFit's stupid. I'm like, okay, all
Yeah.
right.
That's my favorite too. When people are like, they'll respond to a video on the grid page, like CrossFit's dumb. I'm like, good thing this isn't CrossFit. But please tell me you don't know what you're like, continue to be mad about a sport you don't understand.
Yep, of
Even
course.
talking to people about CrossFit, they're like, so that's why like one of the videos I have pinned are like me doing butterfly chest to bar because I'm like, oh, because we can't do real ones, and then I'm repping out 45-pound plate between my legs, but nobody wants to, they just don't get it. And I try to explain it. I'm like, it's about efficiency, it's about blah blah blah, but nobody, yeah, they just want to flap their gums.
Yep, nobody cares. Nobody cares
No.
at all. But so are the prize money for the championship or like for teams at all? Is that going to get more bigger at all for like the end of the year, or since you're getting a lot more eyes on the sport through like YouTube and the other social media platforms from like ad revenue?
I mean, that I think that's the plan. We have like a crazy ass 5-year plan, like to be in stadiums, to be at these. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not 5. I think it was 15. Whatever Mather said, it was like this huge, like long-term plan. And it's like it's doable. We're getting there. We're growing. The prize money, they haven't said anything about that getting bigger as of like this year, maybe even next year, because I think as we grow, they're constantly putting stuff back into the sport, or trying to make things better and like experiences better for the athlete, getting the athletes more sponsors. Because like the athletes will make money not just from winning the championship. Like we get sponsors, we get opportunities and stuff like that. So they're always looking for ways to make the athlete that have a better experience, have more opportunities. So it's like they're always putting it back into the league. And I don't think, I mean, people that have been there, even not even from the beginning, but that truly love and understand it, they're not doing it for the money. They really like, at least I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like I just truly loved playing it and like being a part of it. But I mean, I'm sure that's an idea down the road. Cause I mean, they're in partnerships with trying to get, like broadcast, like getting this stuff onto a network. So, and they were in big talks. I don't know if it's going to happen this season, but they're getting closer every year with talking with a couple different options. So yeah, I
Very
can see
cool.
that being an option in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I would love to see it grow because
Yeah.
other sports out there, other than football, baseball, basketball, and soccer,
Yeah.
kind of, get it out there. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, so with all the YouTube stuff and everything like that, so I know you said you're looking for sponsors. So like what kind of sponsors are you looking for the team?
So, I mean, we've worked with all different types of brands. We've worked with clothing brands, food brands, like grips, accessory brands. Like this year, we're partnering with Health Pod. They do like lab work to help you make sure like all your stuff's working right. So there's really no limit as far as like what type. But we have like different sponsorship packages that will like based on what the brand's looking for. Like a lot of it is content creation. because the league obviously does a ridiculously good job with that. So like we'll make them content reels. We're showing off their brands. They can have access to players. They can get booth space at these crazy giant expos that normally cost like $3,000 just to walk in the door as a vendor there. They get ad space on our jerseys. They have their big logo on our jerseys. They can get like ad space on the floors. Like there's a whole different bunch of options for partners based on what they're looking for. We have a bunch of options that are already like created, but we've also worked with brands that are like, hey, what's your budget? What are you specifically looking for? And then the league will just custom make one based on what they need. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So typically for a team, how many sponsors do you usually have per team?
It ranges. So like ideally we would have maybe a couple bigger sponsors, just so it doesn't overwhelm the team of like, hey, post about this, talk about that. What do you know? So, but like last year we had four. Four small, one bigger one, a couple smaller ones. There's one team that has like 7. It just depends on, like, there's no limit. It just depends on what you agree with. Like if you get a sponsor that's, hey, I want exclusivity, I want to be the only people in your jersey, nobody else, then obviously that's going to cost a little bit more, but you're going to get a lot more exposure. You're going to get more athletes on board. You're going to get more for what you're paying for. So, there's some people just get one big ass one for like $10,000 and that's all they need. Other people get like maybe 10 small little ones for a little bit here and there. So there's no answer to that question.
Yeah, I can imagine like some random guy that like likes grid. He's like, I would like my State Farm agency name on the back of your shirt.
Yes,
please.
But hey, I'll promote State Farm if somebody wants to give us that kind of money. Cool. I'll switch my insurance. No problem.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, are you guys looking to expand? I know you have the team in Atlanta, like you said before, but are you looking to like expand into like Texas, Mississippi, like kind of like North Carolina or South Carolina? Like is this like for this year or the next year coming up, like to further it out?
Yeah, we're actually in the works of talking with possible new teams. Probably not for this year because that's way too fast. Yeah. I feel like we literally just stopped last season and we're already coming in the season. But the league is in the talks with I think 6 different possible owners. So we can't just get like one new team. We have to get like 1 on each side, right? Or like 2 on each side. It can't just be one because then it's all weird bracket style wise. So they're definitely there. They're always looking to expand. It just takes a lot of like finding the right, because we just don't want anybody. Like we just don't want somebody like, I want to own a team and then they're not dedicated. They don't understand it. It takes a lot of work. It's not just like a hobby, like a thing you kind of try at. It's like you gotta be dedicated to this stuff. So they're making sure that these people are qualified, that they mesh well with the mission and where the league is going. But they've been in the works of talking with, I believe, at least 6 different owner possibilities. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Really
cool.
I
wish it was going to happen this year, but I'll be patient.
I mean, you can't. It can't be like Noble that just like literally just throws everything out and then all of a sudden just like craps the bed. So
no.
So speaking of Noble, so with your orange shoes, like what are you gonna do with Noble if they're not really doing so hot? Have you found like other orange shoes yet?
It's so funny because like once everybody started shitting on Noble, like I was like, I can't wear these anymore. And I kind of like, I wore them out and they're dead. I still have them. I was like, maybe I'll just like wear them every once in a while. But I have like 6 different brands of shoes in my locker at the gym, whether I like won them because I won like a pair of tiers for winning like Tampa Bay games. I got Innovates from Grid last year. I have Strike Movement from something. I don't remember why. I have, Nanos that I got it. They gave us at Legends. And then I have my Born Primitive Savage shoes. Those are probably my favorites. I've been wearing those nonstop. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm like, can you get more colors, please? Because right now they only have like white and black. I was like, can you get maybe orange? Just get some maybe orange shoes. No? Yes. So yeah, I'm trying to broaden my horizons, but I did put orange shoelaces in the white ones. So at least there's something in there. I had to put something in there, Yeah.
Yeah. You could always paint it too.
That's true. I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So with I actually talked about the Born Primitive shoes to a bunch of my buddies on the podcast, and like the way they don't look. For me, they just don't look appealing, especially with the Born Primitive. Like
the logo's pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. The huge ass logo, and I'm like, that doesn't. I mean, I don't think it looks so hot, but like for a person that's worn them and, you know, competed in them,
Yeah.
what are your I know you said they're your favorite, but like what made you make them your favorite compared to all the other shoes that you've had?
So I apparently must have like weird feet that don't, I can't wear Metcons. They're too narrow. The Nanos, that's why I liked the Nobles, because they were like obnoxiously wide and like could fit my feet.
Mhm.
So, and I would wear the Nanos. I actually got the Nano, whatever the hell they're called, X30. I don't know. They were like magenta. I was like, oh my God, that's such an obnoxious color. I want them. I got them. They were so uncomfortable. And the heel was like massive. And I'm like, I want to feel the floor. And I really tried to like them. And then once my Born Primitive ones came in the mail and I just opened them, I was like, oh my God, my feet will fit. I could tell by the shape of them that this was going to be great. And I immediately returned the Reebok ones. So they're breathable. They're minimal. So it's kind of like a mesh between Nano 2. I don't know if do you know what strike movement is?
Yeah, I've seen
They have
seen
like a
them.
really breathable top mesh. It's kind of like the two of those had a baby and made a shoe that is still stable. So, because I like the strike movement, but I can't lift in them. And they hurt my feet after a little while. The Nanos, I've always been a Nano person up until like 9. Then I was like, I'm done with this. I'm sick of it. And then that's when I switched to Noble, and I was like, Noble forever. And I'm like, wow, these are getting boring. They're the same thing, and nothing's getting any better. So yeah. That they're comfortable. I didn't have to break them in at all. I'm also lazy and I can leave them tied and take them on and off. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Probably not. You're not supposed to do that.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. So yeah, they fit my feet. That is like literally, they're comfortable. They required no break-in. I can lift in them. I can run in them. I could wear them for a very long time. Like I'll wear them all day at the gym because usually I'm working out, coaching. I have to leave to go like do like if I have a PT client, come back. So yeah, they're my go-tos.
Yeah. For me, like I'm a Metcon guy. That's just
Yeah.
I've tried
I wish I
Nanos.
could wear them. They have such fun colors, but they don't fit my feet.
Yeah, and I have to change them out like almost every 6 months.
Yeah. You're
Because
supposed to do that, I think. That's like a thing.
yeah, like maybe a little bit earlier sometimes too, because we went to I didn't wear the Metcons at Disney. Just
Oh God.
that'd be a nightmare. But I had these Air Max shoes that I rarely wore, and I walked around Disney with them, and my feet were dying,
Yeah.
and I'm like, these are Air Max shoes that they should be comfortable, and so
Yeah.
I literally went to the outlet store and got like these cheap Metcons, and also because I had the black ones that I had, and I was like, okay, let's get rid of these, and then I got another pair for the like a normal casual shoe, walking shoe. Man, like it felt so much better. Like I literally
Yeah.
put them on. I'm like, oh my God, like this is, and I'm
Same.
like, yeah, and I'm like, yes, I know this is not going to be all like, you know, butterflies and you know, dandelions after like the next like couple months. It's going to be like, okay, well, I need to look for a new shoe.
Yeah.
So, especially with my like, you know, being 6'6" and like 220. So
Yeah. Right.
all that weight. So, but yeah, and it's also amazing, like for lifters, you see all these like super heavyweight weightlifters, and like
Yeah.
how the hell are those shoes supporting these guys
I don't know.
and the weight that they're catching?
Yeah. It's nuts. I don't get it. I don't know. I have Innovate lifters, which I really love them, but I don't wear lifters unless I'm doing like a heavy back squat. I don't wear them for Olympic lifts because I think it pulls me forward because like I have pretty good lower body mobility where I don't need them. So I feel like they don't help me much. They just kind of like make me fall forward. But the Innovates I do have, they're black, which is not like me at all. But I just like this.
You gotta paint them. Yeah.
I know people are like, what are you buying? I'm like, I know, but they're like a matte black. It's different. I don't know. They hit different. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I don't wear them. I try to like get into it because like all the cool kids wear their lifters. I'm like, I can't do it. Just can't. Yeah.
I use my lifters on like mainly like for like weightlifting, but with back squats or other squats, I try to use my other shoes like the Metcons to kind of not like face forward. So just in case if it's like super heavy weight, I don't like lean forward and just use my back for the whole thing. So
yeah. Sometimes even back squat, just back squat barefoot. Like there's no rhyme or reason to anything I do.
Yeah.
I've come to that conclusion.
Yeah. But also you're a coach too. I forgot to mention that. So I saw I think it was on your stories, you had your clients at the gym do like a 20 rep max back squat or something like that.
Yeah, it's a cycle that we're doing at our gym. So we're in week, what is today? Today's, I don't know, Wednesday. So
Third, yeah,
Monday will
Wednesday,
be
yeah.
week 6 of the week of, 20 rep max back squat. So we started at about 55%. And then every week you add either 5 or 10 pounds. And first couple weeks are real nice. And then you're like, oh shit. And then it just gets real and real and real. And you get done and you feel like you're drunk. You feel and you're just like, oh God. And you have to like, I usually get done and I just kind of like walk around. I'm like, all right, everything's fine. I just gotta get the life back into my body. And yes, this is maybe the third time because we do this, like, we usually do this around the open each year. And I'm like, oh God, it's time again. But when I had shoulder surgery in 2018, I will never wish this on my worst enemy. In 2018, I had shoulder surgery and all I could do was legs. I mean, I did some upper body stuff, but I was like, I'm going to do the Widowmaker cycle. No. So what it is, you're also supposed to drink a gallon of milk with this, which I did not do. But so what it is you take your 5 rep max back squat and you take off 5 pounds for every day you're going to do it. So it's like, all right, I'll do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 6 weeks. So I took off, I think it was like 100, whatever pounds it was. I started at 155. I'm like, all right, Monday, do 155 20 times. Great. Wednesday, do 160 20 times. Great. Friday, 165 20 times. And you just keep doing it. It was so bad. It got to the point where I would go like on Instagram Live just so like 3 people would watch me so I wouldn't bitch out because I'd be by myself. The thoughts that would enter my brain were so suicidal and just unhealthy that no one should ever do that ever. And it was just so, I don't know how, and I could not do this today. But I guessed at the time my 5 rep max back squat was 245. I ended up getting to 240 and I failed the 15th rep. It's on YouTube somewhere. I did it 14 and a half fucking times. I don't know how I did that because I don't think I could do that now.
Yeah.
But it worked and I was miserable and it hurt you would get to like rep 11 and 12. Your heart is like out of your body and you're just like, oh my God. And oh my God, it's terrible. It's terrible. If you ever want to hate yourself, just do that. Just do it for a couple weeks, 3 days a week. That's it.
So I first heard that on Barbell Shrugged. And so they talked about it and I'm like, okay, I want to do it. So I did it.
Oh,
and I think, gosh, I think it was like week 4, I believe. Like I was contemplating life, just like you would hit like 12 or like that, and you're like holding the bar on your shoulder, which is creating more tension on you, and you're trying to breathe and trying to brace yourself, and it's just like it is
so bad,
miserable.
So
but like,
bad. No.
The gains that you get are just absolutely
It was insane. I was like, I can't believe I just did, because the whole idea is to turn your 5 rep into your 20 rep. I'm like, there's no way. And I got so close to doing it. And I was like, no, but I will never do that. Not 3 days a week. No, I won't. Nope. That was terrible.
So I actually did that with, I did the same 20 rep method on military press.
Ooh.
So cause I was like, okay, like I try, like my handstand push-ups are absolute garbage because I'm so long.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay. So I decided to start doing like, shoulder to overhead, like not like the jerk, but like just literally just strict press.
Yeah.
Strict press. And so I was just like, okay, I'll start with, let's just say like 75 pounds. So I did that for 20. And then I would do like the next day would be like, 80. Okay, no problem. And then like when it started getting close to like the 100, 115, like that's when it started like to burn. And I would hold it here and like I couldn't drop my elbows down just to relax because like my shoulders would be like
then you're done. Yeah, we're done. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible because you don't even get like my God, I had to demo something for one of the classes today. I'm just holding front rack for like 20 seconds. And I was like, I got to put this down. Oh my God, that might be worse. I don't know, man. That's some pump right there.
Yeah, and like the good thing for me is like once I pass my head, it's like okay, I got it. But like if it's like right where my eye
that's where I get stuck.
Yeah,
yep. You're
Game
just
over.
like, why can't I like I'm there but you're not. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, and it's like I'm trying to find ways to just slowly get that over, but it's not working at all whatsoever.
Nope.
So, but
Nope. Nope.
if anyone wants to try that, strict press 20 rep cycle, go for
Ugh.
it. So, so it's I'm trying to remember. So you said, I think you said it before, but it's your one, not the 5 rep max. The one I listened to, Barbell Shrugged, it's your 1 rep max. And then so the way they did it was you had to go for like your top set for the day, like your max back squat, and then do the 20 reps after that at a different percentage.
Oh, gross. So you find your 1 rep and then do a 20 rep based off of a percentage of your 1 rep.
Yep.
Good Lord. They're just making up all sorts of ways to do this terrible shit.
I
Fuck them.
know. Yeah. And so I
Oh.
did it, and I was like, like I said, like I only lasted 4 weeks. I'm like, there's no way.
Like, I'm
I'm like,
good. That's it.
I can't do anymore because I'm like literally sweating. Like
You're just
I was doing this in my basement, and I was just like middle of the night, not middle of the night. It was like 9-10 o'clock, and I'm trying to do these back squats, and it's just like I'm like moaning and groaning, and like my wife's like, "What the fuck
what
are
are
you
you
doing
doing
down there?"
down
Yeah,
there?
what are you doing down there? I'm like, "Oh, I'm just dying. Don't worry." So
Everything's fine.
yeah.
Oh, no. Nope. I'd rather do like a Wendler cycle. Like I'm doing a Wendler cycle right now with bench because I will bench 200. I will friggin' do it. I don't care how long it takes. I'm doing it. So like I'm going into my second cycle now. That's way more fun than 20 reps. Way more fun. Maybe because it's bench, but anyway, yeah. I'd rather do like 5 Wendlers than one of the 20 rep thing.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever do the 20 rep max. Actually, Misfit, the program that I follow, they did the 20 rep max thruster.
Oh no. Nope.
So
I'm out.
just once, like they would do it like once a week
No.
to see where you're at. And I was like, I did 95 pounds, and I was like, okay, I did okay. And like the main thing is like you have to pause all the way up the top just to kind of relax and then slowly come back
And
down
then come
again.
back down.
Yeah.
See, it's like this is what blows. Like, I can relate certain things that I've done for grid. I'm like, all right, because I've done 20. I think it was 95 or 110, and I had to do was it 15 reps or 20, whatever. Well, like I need an audience. I need crazy adrenaline. I need like whatever happens on that grid. I need that because if I were to do that on my own, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Nope.
Yep.
No, ma'am. No, sir. Nope. Yeah, that's ugh.
Yeah, and all my training is at like 4:30 in the morning, and there's like sometimes at the gym
God bless your soul.
there
No,
is there is no music whatsoever sometimes.
that's
So,
crazy.
and it's like, all
No,
right, I guess I have to dig deep today.
that is a special kind of that's dedication right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
You
have
don't
no
want to see me at 4:30 in the morning. Nope.
yeah, I mean, I have no choice. If I don't go there at 4:30, like I'm not working out.
Yeah.
There's no way because like I got the kids, I got, helping out my wife, and then like I got to do other things, and it's just like, yeah, not
You got to
happening.
adult. You got to like life, God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. God forbid I want to work out. So, and maybe do something and hopefully move up in the CrossFit, sphere.
Ugh.
So, but so we're getting close to the end, but I know you're a nutrition coach, and so I had a question for you.
Yeah.
So, obviously this is about my family. So, my wife is getting the kids to go vegan,
Okay.
and so so for me, I don't want to go vegan. Like I'm okay, like for like I'll eat meat for like breakfast and lunch, and then for dinner I'll have like a vegan meal with like the family and stuff like that. So do you think it's good for me to do that to maintain like, strength and all that stuff? Because I know vegan, I've heard that like you lose a little bit of muscle mass because you don't get like that meat protein or anything like that. So is it okay for me, you think, to do a vegan dinner like every night and then just have like, meat the rest of the day?
Yeah. I mean, so being vegan obviously it's harder to get enough protein, right?
Yep.
And it depends on how picky you are because some people are vegan and they do fine with it, but they don't mind getting most of their sources from like tofu but they'll find things like beans or even like things like quinoa, like there are enough things out there that can help, but there's not as much variety obviously as if you weren't vegan. So it's not impossible. And as long as you're getting enough protein throughout your day, you'll be fine. You'll
Okay.
be fine. The thing that
Okay.
kills me about being vegan is people automatically associate vegan with being healthier. And then I'm like, Oreos are vegan. Remember that. That's all I'm gonna say. So, because a lot of times when you're getting vegan substitutes, it's a chemical shitstorm, and you're just substituting the meat to try to get a meat-like thing that just has so much garbage in it that you're defeating the purpose of trying to be healthier, if that's the reason you're trying to do it,
Mhm.
when you're just putting all sorts of bullshit in your body. So
Yep.
that part always gets me. People like, oh, I'm gonna be vegan, and here's my vegan, whatever they call it, vegan burger, and it's like, what are you eating? It's like, oh, but this is healthier. I'm like, read the label, you know. So as long as people are aware of what they're actually doing, great. But yeah, it's not impossible to maintain muscle being vegan. I could never do it, but that's just me. But yeah, I think that'll be great that you still be able to like eat dinner with your family and like do something together. There's plenty of ways to still be able to do that. Yeah. If you're eating meat throughout the day, you're still getting plenty of protein. You'll be all right.
Okay. So we actually, speaking of the burgers, we had Impossible Burgers today.
Yeah.
So, and
Those.
it's, yeah, and it's like so there was another burger that we had a little while ago. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's not the Impossible Burger. It was something else, and it tasted like absolute dog shit. Like, it was so bad. I'm like, do not buy these again. These are so
Yeah.
bad, so bad.
It's, go ahead. I cut you off.
And I know you got, and then like there's other ones where it's like a fake chicken patty, which is like fine because it doesn't it works a little bit, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's not like the burgers that are like that don't that they try to make it look like a burger, taste like a
Yeah.
burger, and it's like you said, there's like so many chemicals in there that it's
Oh
like
my God. It's frightening.
what the hell is this?
I don't know. Why do they have to call it like a burger? Like, I never understood this. Like, if you want to be vegan, great, do your thing. But why are they always trying to make foods that are meat when they don't want to eat meat? Just call it
I,
something different.
so I watched this show. It was oh gosh, You Are What You Eat. So they
Yeah,
had us they
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so if for the listeners out there, they did a study on a set of twins, like
Twins.
a bunch of twins. So one
Yeah.
was a omnivore and the other one was vegan. And so they kind of did all the blood work, and I don't know why they did the sexual simulation part on that little show, but whatever. So but but the guy from Impossible Burger was on the show, and he was like saying that the reason why we try to make it look like an actual burger is to like kind of like almost like trick the brain to say like, hey, I'm actually eating meat, but I'm not. It's like it's vegan or something like that, like to like not look like it's like
Yeah.
not to
But
be
if
different
meat's
from
the
other people.
problem, why are you trying to trick yourself into eating meat? Like, I get the logic. I just want to understand the logic. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. That's great. If you want to do that, perfect. But like, what? That's like saying, I don't know. Like, I hate the color red, but I'm gonna wear a color that's red, but call it something different, and wear pink and be like, I'm gonna get a dark pink, but I'm gonna call it. I don't know. That probably made no sense. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it. And
I
it's
don't
like
get it.
even for cheese too, like they have that, like some of the cheeses that they have are just ugh,
Yeah.
like
Oh my. So another story. My sister. Fun fact: my sister has triplets. And they had a nanny, and she was very vegan. Like, no, like, sometimes people are like, oh, I'm vegan, but I eat this. But she was very vegan. She came to our Christmas Eve dinner, and she brought vegan chicken wings. Do you know what vegan chicken wings are?
is it like cauliflower or something like
It's
that?
friggin' cauliflower and hot sauce.
Yeah.
That we're from Buffalo. Okay, you do not say you're bringing vegan. First of all, vegan and just Buffalo. That's like eating ranch with your chicken wings. That's also a cardinal sin because it's blue cheese only. Vegan, I can't. Just say it's cauliflower with hot sauce. I don't like hot things, but at least I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
It was the most confusing thing. Why call it chicken wings? I don't know. Just call cauliflower. It's not a
Yeah.
chicken wing.
Yeah.
Ugh, I can't.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, like I don't mind it, but it's just like it's some of the stuff. It's like why make it like that? But that's just I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a talking head. I don't know anything. So,
What do I know? Yeah.
but we're getting close to the end. So I know last time we had some rapid fire questions. Obviously they're not rapid fire. You can take as long as you want. So So I know this is the beginning of the year. So do you have any goals that, even with like the brigade, personal, like business or anything like that, like coming up like towards the end of the year you want to hit?
I think like with CrossFit, like there's so many changes going on that it's like hard to pinpoint something because it's like every time we think we know what's going on, they're like, this is now happening. So we're like, oh, okay. And I mean, any competitive masters athlete, like your goal is to go to the games, right? So, and I think now it's like, this is probably the best opportunity I've ever had because I've been so close in the past few years, and now they've made it a little bit more widespread. So it's definitely always on my radar. Business wise, I have a couple things that I've been kind of like putting off that I would like to not put off anymore. Just as far as like some of my programs, like expanding them and making them just a little bit more in depth, and just I'm always adding to those types of things. So I think like it's like a vague goal to actually like doing it instead of avoiding it or putting it off doing that.
Yeah.
And with the brigade, I'm taking Marissa, she's come on board now. She's been my teammate. This is like her 4th season. Her and I are taking even more ownership now. So Chris, him and I were co-owners. He's taking more of a back step now. So he's just going to do like the coaching aspect of it. So Marissa and I are really in charge of everything now. So I think for us, our main goal is to just make this one of our more successful seasons and just make it fun again for everyone. And we want to make playoffs. We want to win the whole thing. It's like, I think that's the goal of every single team, right? So if we can get back there, this first step would be to get to playoffs and then go from there. I really think that would be a good step for us because it's possible. It's in our sights, and I think it's something we could do. So
Awesome. Great. So do you have a new favorite book that you like to read?
So there was. Oh, I started reading one, I'm a big like audio because I'm in the car all the time, and I'll put on like so I'm more of a podcast person. And I started listening.
I know what it is. I know what your favorite podcast is.
Yes.
It is the Type 1 Lifting podcast.
Yes, it very much is. Yeah,
I knew it. Okay, thank you for listening.
Everyone listen to Type 1 podcast. That's it. But there's like the herd mentality. There's a couple like just like a CrossFit stuff that I always have in the background that I'm just kind of listening to. And one of my clients and I were talking about the Atomic Habits and like, why is this taking me so long to start reading? And I'm like, I'm an idiot. So that I've been getting into more. So I think those are probably where I'm at right now. So yeah.
So there's a book I kind of want you to listen to
Okay.
or read. So I don't know the author's name, but it's the Success Principles. It's the creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Okay.
So he has one. It's like 500 pages, but it's really good. Like you read it, you're like, oh, okay, all right. This is like,
what is it called?
The Success Principles. I'll send it to you. So
okay.
But it's really good. It's like it's almost like a slap in the face. Like when you read it, you're like, oh shit, I should have done that like a long time ago.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's
perfect.
Yeah, it's definitely good. So this is a new question that I added. So what is something that you like to do that no one knows about?
Man, I feel like I don't have any secrets. Something that they might not know, I'm a really good axe thrower. Like bizarrely good axe thrower. Yeah. This was a recent discovery. I've gone a couple times now and I'm like, this is dumb. And then I throw it and I'm like, this is awesome. So yeah, I enjoy axe throwing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never done it. There's one place that's like down the street from my house, like not down the street, but like a half hour down the way from my house. And I'm like, I've always wanted to do it, but I'm like,
just go do it. It's like awkward at first, but then like you get into it because you're like, wait a minute, what's this thing to stick in the thing? Yeah.
Okay.
Just go try it.
Yeah. So is there anything what's in your gym bag? I know you have a new gym bag. So so what is in your gym bag?
Oh, geez. Everything. There's just so much crap. It's unnecessary. I mean, I have 2 pairs of grips. I have my rope. I have 2 pairs of knee sleeves and also knee pads because old. And sometimes when I do lunges, I have my teammate, Lindsay, she gave me her old volleyball knee pads. So I put those under my knee sleeves because I got old knees. I have my wrist guards. I have a wad and done thumb tape. I have a callus thing that I like should be using more than I am. I have chapstick that I don't use. I have some scrunchies. I have my ESE sounds things. A scraper, a Gaston scraper tool thing that I should also be using more. Voodoo floss bands that I don't use. Shoes. There's a lot. Some snacks probably that are expired that I should throw out. Yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's like you almost like once every like 2 months you have to like go through your bag.
I go through it and I'm like, oh, okay. That
rid of
doesn't need to be
this.
in there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So the next question is, so how do you want people to know you as?
Like philosophically?
Sure, like whatever.
Geez. Like I just want people to think of me as somebody like that doesn't take themselves too seriously, that is dedicated, but also not like, too cool for school. That just likes to enjoy fitness and like personable, loves talking to people, and hopefully they can be like, and I can be like a role model for people, especially kids, like younger, like teenagers and stuff like that, and young girls, like, hey, I can lift and like it's cool, So
Yeah.
yeah.
I forgot I talk about great kids a little bit, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that next time.
Okay.
So so just real quick about that one. So are you looking to expand up to like Georgia or anything like that with great kids, or what's the next steps for that?
I mean, in the future, I would love it to be, nationwide. It's harder with the kids simply because it's not just them. They're relying on their parents to drive them everywhere. So it's a little bit more logistically difficult. I mean, we have kids from like Tampa, Orlando, and all the way across to Miami, because like the South and like we're kind of spread across Florida. And depending on where they live would determine like if they're on the north or south. So,
Okay.
but it's definitely tougher with kids because there's some badass kids in other states, and I'm like, man, I wish you were closer. But like for them to travel would be a lot more difficult than obviously kids that are local. But if we can expand, because we want to get a couple more teams, because we have one north and one south. Ideally, we would have 2 north and 2 south. So yeah, if we can and figure out a way to make it easier for the families to travel, because like kids travel for I travel all the time for soccer.
Yeah.
I fly here, drive there, whatever. So it's not impossible. It's just grid's not a typical sport, and it takes a little bit more education to like get them to understand what it is first. Even like kids who do CrossFit, they're like, what's grid? Is it CrossFit? We're like, no, it's different.
A little different.
So I think because the kids pages too, like the kids, even this past season, that was probably like one of our bigger kids seasons. So I think as we continue to grow, it'll be a little bit easier, but it's definitely going to take some time. But long term, I think that's definitely possible.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So last question. So where could people contact you if they want to get feet pics, or if they want to ask you any other questions about like, grid or like doing the masters?
So like non-weird things. Instagram, it's the gym _ not a runway. I was eventually going to change that when I first started, but it works. So I'm stuck with it now. Some people they're like, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, that's my name. So yeah, it's the gym _ not a runway. Or my nutrition page is OPB Nutrition, and same on Facebook. I don't do YouTube yet, but apparently I'm going to start doing it. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. And actually like learning more about grid, because obviously it's a growing sport and it should get some recognition compared to where it's at now. Like we're like more, nationwide or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll obviously love to have you back on maybe during the season or after the season and kind of see where everything's at.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's always fun.
Let me see if I can